Good evening and welcome. This is an exciting way for us all to meet this evening. So hopefully I don't mess it up too much. I'm still learning how to do all of these new tech things, but it's been a lot of fun learning. So I hope everyone can hear me well, and I appreciate you taking time out this evening to join me. So let's get started with um, our topic. This is our first virtual FAQ session. So due to the number of participants that we have in this session, we will not have an open mic session, but you will be able to put your comments and questions in the chat feature. So hopefully all of you can see that. I will be answering questions at the end of this session and hopefully ending it within an hour. I want to be respectful of your time. So please, if you would, wait to post your questions until we wait till that time to start posting them so I can try to keep up with what you're needing to know. Hopefully, if I do this well, I will answer your questions before you even have to ask. So let's get started. Tonight, I want to address the status of where we are in this time of change. This is a time that's filled with fear, frustration, and so many unknowns. And I know for you, as you begin to think about sending your children back to school or having them attend virtually, you have many, many questions. I want to begin by letting you know that we still don't have all of the answers. And then sometimes when we think we have the answers, the powers that be change the dynamics on us, change the rules of engagement, and we have to pivot and make a change accordingly. Please be patient with us as we try to work through all of these issues, and know that we are trying diligently each and every day to think through very carefully what needs to be done to keep your children safe. That is our first priority as we look at how to return to learn at Aransas Pass ISD. So together, I have no doubt that we're going to navigate these uncharted waters and that we will create a path that is great for your children, for your family, and also enables us to keep our staff safe and their families. So much to think about, much to do, still so many unanswered questions, but tonight I wanted to have an opportunity just to share with you where we are and what we know as of today, and answer any of your questions to try to I hope that it will relieve some of your fear, and you will know where our heart is, and that you are and your families are the top priority for us. I think about this night and day. Let's start working through this. So first, we want to begin with our school calendar begins with the first day of school being August 24th. And we have chosen to begin with the first 2 weeks 100% virtual, meaning that students would do their learning from a outside location, the home, childcare location, wherever you might have your children during the day. And we know this is difficult, and we did not take this lightly in making the decision to move this direction. In light of the times, though, of the number of cases we have in our area, and for the safety of all, we felt that is the best way to begin, with the goal to move as quickly as possible to having choice for you to be able to do to stay virtual or to send your students to campus. We had the executive order for San Patricio County, which basically stated that we could not do any face-to-face instruction until after Labor Day. Then the Attorney General said that was not lawful for them to make that decision. So I know there's some political things going on there, and some back and forth with all that. For us here at Aransas Pass ISD, we need to move forward. We don't want to get into political debates. We want to do what's best for our families here at Aransas Pass and take care of business. So we're going to move forward with 100% virtual, as is allowed by TEA regulations as part of the phase-in process. They allow an opportunity for us to do up to 4 weeks of a phase-in with no to percentages of, you have no students up to percentages of students, and then the board could approve 4 more. But we're going to try just the 2 right now in hopes that things change, that we start seeing less cases, and that we can get back to some sense of normalcy and help all of you out that are having difficulty because you work and what do you do with your children? And I know that is just a tremendous burden that you're all facing right now. So to keep everyone safe, though, we'll begin in this manner. So let me tell you what that would look like, and hopefully it will help you having an understanding of what we're planning. So first of all, in order to do virtual, of course, and do it with the high quality of instruction that we want for your children, we would need to ensure that everyone has access to a device and internet. So many of our families have that. You have that access. That's something you have in your home, and that's wonderful. But we do know that we have some families that do not have this access. So how do we provide that fair and equitable education to ensure everyone has the same type of access, even if they have some financial difficulties in their current situations? So as most of you have already heard, our Board of Trustees approved the purchase of 1,500 Chromebooks. This was done back in May, and we did place our order, and they are now on back order. And we are hoping and praying that they are going to make it. The latest date we were given today is August 11th for their arrival. The reason for this is because everyone in the country is trying to order devices to get in-house for their students. So hopefully we got out early enough that we will get them in here, but we're working on our contingency plan if they don't make it. And basically what that would look like is we do have enough devices in-house that we could help out families per household. So our goal is to get a device in every child's hand that does not have one, so they could individually be working all at the same time. So if you have 4 children, all 4 would have a device and they would all be able to work at the same time, instead of having to share a device like many of you tried to do in the spring. So if we don't get the devices in time, we may have to do a little sharing at first, but hopefully not too many days, and then move towards the one-to-one is where we want to be in our district. And then just 30 minutes ago, we had a special board meeting that I just left with our Board of Trustees, and they approved the purchase of 150 mobile hotspots. And so we will be ordering them tomorrow through a joint opportunity with TEA with some matched funds. And these mobile hotspots will be in the district for checkout also for any of our families that currently have no internet connectivity. For those of you that do have that, that's great. You can continue to use yours, and we appreciate you continuing to use yours so that we can save these mobile hotspots for those that are just financially unable to get internet access for their children to have that for learning. So this will also all be part of a checkout process, and we are currently working on what that process will look like and the days that and the way that you would pick this up. So we will be posting that information very soon. There will be a yearly, one time each year, $20 protection plan coverage for each device that you choose to check out for your children. And this will cover any accidental damages, but it will not cover the cost of it being lost or stolen. So we tried to minimize any costs to you so that it could be affordable. But I think that's a pretty good deal, $20 per device to use all year for your children. So we'll be pushing more information out about that very soon. So that's a blessing that we have to ensure that we have what is needed as far as devices and connectivity. We also, because of the fluctuation of information and not knowing exactly when we were going to start in-house on campus-based school, we decided as a district that some funds that we had, that we would use them to purchase school supplies. We wanted to take the burden off of you of having to think about, okay, well, are my children going to be at home? Are they going to be in school? And so what supplies do they really need based off of where they are? There's just so much confusion. And so anything that we can do as a district to remove some of that burden, we're trying to do. And so those school supplies will be provided to all students in the district this year to aid in that ability to have what you need without the families having to have that burden on you. So then we need to start looking at the learning expectations. So once we get the resources out of the way, then what does it actually look like? And I know you've had many questions, and so many I've answered through our FAQ page. I've posted that. Some have sent emails, and I've tried to respond to each one of them. I even had phone calls. But I think everyone needs to kind of have a glimpse of what we're looking at. So as I said, for the first 2 weeks, we will be fully remote, virtual learning. The big question we have is how many hours, how much time are we talking about? And that's a big concern, especially if you're having to work or you have a caregiver that you're not wanting them to have to spend hours and hours with the children with their learning. Well, for our fully remote only, when everyone's 100% virtual, as we are for this first 2 weeks, and hopefully that's all we are just for those 2 weeks, it will be scaled back. And this is being done to aid all the working families that are out there trying to figure out how to ensure their child gets a high quality education while you also manage to take care of things that you need to do, such as your job. So we've been working on what this engagement would look like. And this includes some online access. There'll be videos, activities, things that students can, because the teachers will be doing the teaching. I want to stress that this will not be where we expect you to do the teaching. The teachers will do the teaching through videos and activities and different things that they post through our Google Classroom platform, which you will be receiving information on how to log into that, and even some little mini trainings you can watch to help you with that. So your part, the learning coaches, we like to call it, whether it's you, a grandparent, a caregiver, whomever on the other side is trying to help the child, we want to minimize what you are responsible to do. So yours is to help make sure they get logged in, they have access to their lessons, and that they stay engaged, because depending on their age, really all of us, we can become very distracted. And so how do we keep them in tune with what is going on? It will be done in a way that we're trying to do it for this 100% virtual, so that it'll be opportunities for an array of times, like a length of time, you might say, so that it's not like a set moment in time that they have to be in. Now, the teachers may, especially at the high school level, when they do their planning, may invite the students in for certain activities that they need to log in at certain times, but most of that will be done at the secondary level. And more information will be coming as the teachers come back next week and make their final preparations for that. So to give you an idea of what we're looking at for this first 2 weeks is, if you have a pre-K student, we're looking at about 1 hour a day. So that gives about 5 hours for the week. So around 1 hour of activities. That's the online and independent work that would need. That doesn't mean they're sitting looking at a computer for 1 hour a day. It means that they have about 1 hour worth of work that needs to be done, whether they're engaged in watching a video with the teachers teaching them, and then they do some independent work. Whatever, there will be a variety of things that are done based off of what the teacher feels is needed to teach the concepts. For kindergarten through second grade, we're looking about 1.5 to 2 hours a day. For third through fifth grade, about 2 hours a day. Sixth through eighth grade, approximately 2.5 hours a day. And high school, about 3 hours a day. So we've tried to really minimize the amount of time that is needed to be spent, because we know that this is very, very difficult. But in order to cover the concepts that your children need to learn to stay on, so that their progress is in a good place and they receive the education that you want them to receive, there needs to be a commitment to this time. But as you can tell, we've really tried to minimize it. So I know that still sounds like a lot, especially when you have a pre-K student trying to get them to work an hour, but that doesn't mean an hour and they have to sit there from 8 to 9 and get it all done. The activities should be broken out so that you have an opportunity to do it throughout the day. They do need to, daily attendance will be taken just like if they were in regular school, and they must show engagement. This is according to the TEA guidelines in order to be counted present. So this will come in various forms that the teachers will be preparing this next 2 weeks during their in-service weeks. They would have to, each day, every student will need to log in, and they will need to look at what the work is that's required, and there will be a task that will need to be completed for that day in order to be counted present. They will have from 8 a.m. in the morning until midnight for that to be completed. So those that have been asking about, what if I work all day, they're with a caregiver and I need to come home in the evening, afternoon, evening, and help them, we're trying to do that for this 100% virtual. So you will have that opportunity to work with them in the afternoon and evening. So hopefully that helps you kind of relieve some of that stress. I know that will make for a long day coming home, working with your children, but we're trying to make these lessons and make it engaging and so forth. That I think you'll be surprised at what your children will be able to do. I think they'll probably handle this better than any of us have. This is kind of their world, virtual. Attendance laws will still be in place requiring this documented attendance, and it is subject to truancy violations, even if it's virtual. Once again, this is requirements through TEA that we must follow in order to for us to continue to show that we're meeting the state guidelines. And we'll be sharing more and more information with this as we get closer, because I know some of that may seem just like a lot of information at once. All information for the day will be posted during the normal school hours of 8 to 4, but during the required virtual 2 weeks, we will be providing some learning and tech support until 8 p.m. for parents or students that need assistance, and that will be Monday through Friday. So to say that in another way is that each day the lessons and the work for the day will be posted by 8 o'clock in the morning, and then the students have all day from 8 until midnight to make sure they have gone in, completed their task, done what needs to be done, and we will provide some tech support and learning support even after hours up until 8 p.m. We're going to be working with some of our teachers that will help us out with that. So we've tried to think of everything we can to provide support to you, because we know this is hard and we hate that we're having to ask you to do this. And so we want to be partners with you and do all that we can to help what you're experiencing on the other side of that screen to be as successful as possible and relieve as much stress as possible, because I do understand this is very stressful. As I said, we will be providing instructions for how to use the Google Classroom platform. We will be send that out via email and website the week prior to August 24th, and try to provide any assistance that you need to help you feel comfortable with making sure your students are engaged on the other side of the screen. So that is an overview of our first 2 weeks of 100% virtual. That will be from August 24th to September 4th. We are going to post all this information on our Return to Learn site, and I'm going to show you where that is momentarily so that everyone will be able to know where to go on our website and find it. So I'm going to breathe a moment because that was a lot, and I'm going to let you kind of take that in. Like I said, hearing it and then maybe reading through it and seeing it, it may create even more questions, and you may think of some things we still haven't thought of. But I hope that helps you a little bit as you think about that we are partners in this and that we're going to do everything we can to help it be a successful experience for your child first and foremost, and for you as the parent or guardian, so that we don't cause more stress than this whole pandemic has already brought on all of us. Now, I want to share with you, if possible, and we're all praying it will be possible, that we will move to offering choice to you between whether you want to have your children continue with the virtual home-based format that we will all do the first 2 weeks, or if you are ready for them to come back to the campus and be campus-based. We are hoping that we can begin this the day after Labor Day, September 8th. That choice will be there for you. But this will all be dependent upon if we feel due to the data around us that is coming forth from our health professionals as to whether it will be safe or not. Because as I said at the beginning, the most important thing we can do right now is ensure the safety of your children and of your families and of our staff. And so we're trying to balance between taking care of business, which is what we're here to do, is teach your children, and keeping everyone safe. And that's a real tough balance because this is so new to all of us. I want to go ahead and give you a glimpse into what that will look like, so you can begin to think about that, because I know when you registered, a lot of you have already done online registration, and you chose, we asked you to make a preliminary choice of campus-based or home-based. A lot of you chose campus-based, and then the numbers spiked up and you were calling saying, we want to change back. You'll have that opportunity. That was just preliminary, just for us to get an idea of what you were all thinking, so we can make preparations on this side to see if we're going to have 50-50 or 25-75. What's it going to look like? As we get closer, 2 weeks prior, the week of August 24th, you will be able to confirm your choice or change it. So no one panic, you still have time, because we know you didn't even have all the information to make the decision. And so to be fair to the process, you need to have everything you need. So the amount of time required each day will increase. I'm going to say that again. The amount of time required each day for home-based virtual instruction will increase when we go to campus-based and home-based. The reason for this is because we need to have home-based mirror what the work time that will be happening on the campus. The level we've held it down a little for the first 2 weeks for the reasons mentioned, but once we move into that next phase, it will increase. We don't have the exact amounts of time right now. We're going to let the teachers help us with that, to see what they could feasibly do in an amount of time, and we will share that with you before you have to make your final decision. Also, to aid in keeping our children as safe as possible, we are strongly urging parents to find a way, if you choose to be campus-based, to find a way to bring your children or have someone bring your children to school each day and pick them up. We will provide bus transportation to any families that just have no other way to get them here. So that because of the limitations where we're going to need to sit one child per seat, unless they're in the same family, all those safety protocols we're going to have in place to keep everyone safe. It's going to limit we only have so many buses and so many drivers, and so we in order to pull this off and make sure that everyone's able to get to school, we're going to need to really limit it to who absolutely needs it. So be thinking about that. If you're going to choose campus-based, is there a way for you to get your children to school and have them picked up each day? And let's save the bus transportation only for those that just have, there's just no other way. And there's plenty of us, plenty that that's the case. So we're going to make it work, how many ever we have, but I'm just asking, once again, partners, as we work through this, that if we all do what we can get through this. So we will be posting a sign up period in the very near future with the because we wanted you to have the details of what the bus protocols will look like. And so we will be posting that soon. So you'll know how to sign up for that if you're going to do so. Also, all of our safety protocols for the bus, for transportation and our campuses, we're putting the final touches on that as much as we can. As late as last Thursday, we had changes come down again from CDC and TEA. We're using CDC guidelines to develop our protocols, and they change. Just like so much of everything we've been doing all summer, it seems to change as soon as we think we're ready to go. We get some new information. So we're putting some final touches on what we believe is the best protocols we can put in place at this point, and we want to push all of this information out to you. So all the documents containing all of these things I've talked about this evening, along with some other things that we're still working on, they will be sent out to you via email. So I hope you've all put in good working emails when you did your registration, and it will be posted on our website over the next few days. So I'm going to attempt to show you, if I can share my screen. I'm still learning how to do this. So let's see. So I think I'm sharing my screen now, checking with my host. Yes, okay, we're social distancing over here. So you will see when you come to our web page, I just wanted to be able to show you what this would look like. I apologize, I'm a little slow on doing some of this. Okay, you would be able to come in here and look at, go to the Return to Learn tab. When you click on it, we're going to be giving this a little facelift and make it a little more user-friendly here in the next few days. So where we have just little tabs similar to like we did this summer. So what we will do is, when you go in here, you can see where you can find information. And this is where we will be placing all the information that will be able to answer your questions. Also, if you have not registered for to begin school, we need you to do that also. And you will see that here on our Return to Learn page. You'll see here we have all the information needed for registration, how to begin your registration. You would click here. Your frequently asked questions that we've been posting all throughout this summer. And then any questions or concerns you have, you can submit them here. And these, when you submit this, this email is sent directly to me, and I try my best to respond in 24 hours, unless it's on the weekend. Sometimes it takes me a little longer. But I try to get back with you ASAP to answer your questions. And then if it's a question we think everybody would like to know the answer to, we put it on our FAQ. So this is a great place for you to go and be able to find information that will aid you in making decisions and thinking about how to proceed. So let's go back over here. I don't know. Hold, forgive me as I'm, oh, there it is. I lost my notes there for a moment. I had too many things going on at once. So, so let's make sure I've shared everything I wanted to share. So the documents will be on the page I just showed you. We want you to read through it, ask the questions, get your clarification, so that will aid you in being able to make a choice of whether you want to stay virtual or go to campus-based. You want to do what's best for your family. During that week of August 24th, we will be asking you to confirm or change your choice for the learning option that you wish. So we'll start virtual August 24th. We'll go 2 weeks. So that's 2 weeks prior to when we hope to offer campus-based. And during that week is when we'll be asking you to make a choice. The reason we need that because it aids us in determining placement of your children for the learning period. We're also needing you, once you make the choice to stay for the entire 6 weeks. And if you wish to change at the end of the 6 weeks, that's when we would make another change because just to have continuity, because the teacher may change for your child. Some teachers may be doing virtual only. So if you start off virtual and decide to become campus-based, your child very well could change teachers based on the number of students that we have in each category. So that's going to be the hard part for us and for you, is that fluctuating and the change again. But we have to manage this in a way that we don't overwhelm our teachers too. Because it will be very difficult to expect them to teach all day and then do all virtual through 8 p.m. So we're trying to adjust it so we can protect them also and ensure that they can be at their best by us not burdening them. So we're trying to figure out how to work that out. So we appreciate your patience as we work on that. As I mentioned, if you've not registered, please do so. We're encouraging everyone to do the online registration. As I showed you on the Return to Learn page, you can upload all your documents and so forth so that you never have to step into any buildings to take care of registering your children. So please follow those links. Do that registration as soon as you can. When it asks you on the tab to choose your learning choice of home-based or campus-based, just remember that's not a definite commitment at this time. That's just a preliminary to see what you're thinking at this moment. If you need assistance, you can always call us and we will help you on the phone. Or if you do not have access to a computer or the internet, or you just really need to sit down and have someone walk you through it, tomorrow and Wednesday, we are having our one-stop registration. It's a very small kind of one-stop. It's not the big one we prefer with all the different things going on. It is just simply to get your students registered. So that information is on our Return to Learn page and our Facebook page, but I'll give it to you now. Tomorrow, August 4th, from 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. And then August 5th, from 10 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. It will be held at A.C. Blunt Middle School, entering into the side back to the hallway by the gym to the cafeteria area. And that's at 2103 Demery Lane. This is registration for pre-K students, new students, and returning students. Safety protocols will be in place. No more than 2 individuals per household may come in. So we just can't have you bring the whole family in order to protect everyone. All attendees must wear a mask. And you can check out our website for the required documents that you need to bring with you for the registration. So we will have our staff there ready and able to help you, answer any questions and help you with computer access and get your students registered. So any way that we can be of assistance, we want to do that. So that is a lot. And that's just us talking about getting us through the first 2 weeks of virtual learning and then pivoting over to hopefully campus-based. A quick look at that. We haven't even gotten deep into what all the safety protocols look like and all of those things. We want to send those out first, let you take a look at them, and then come back and possibly do another opportunity like this to help you have your questions answered. So let's take a look at what the questions are coming in. Okay, so, all right. I appreciate my assistant, Ms. Blaze. We are social distancing, but she's sending me the questions in. Apparently we've had a lot coming through. There is a 30-second delay from Zoom to YouTube.
Oh, so that way,
okay.
When you talk, it's going to take a second for your response to go up to them.
Okay.
So when they're typing their questions in, we'll
okay. Oh, so she was just letting me know there's a 30-second delay from the way we did this is I'm in Zoom and we're posting this to YouTube and you're sending your questions in. So we're having a little delay there. So we're learning. When we do another one of these, we'll have this better in sync. So I hope that's not causing too many problems for anyone. Will teachers be live for lessons or will the lessons be pre-recorded? Excellent question. Our virtual piece for 100% virtual, we are having all of our teachers recording their lessons so that they can be shown for this as we're learning to do this. It will be possible as we move further into this and we get to that after Labor Day where it's choice, that there could be some live lessons with them bringing, I know at the secondary level, especially I've seen some teachers really doing some fantastic planning of looking at the students coming in like a virtual classroom and then they do activities and there's ways that they can break off into groups even in the classroom. So as we learn more about how to do this, you may see more of that for that very engaging piece and for them to have that virtual interaction with other classmates. But once again, we need you to be patient with us because we're all learning along with you how to do this. And our teachers are just already amazing, the things they're thinking about doing and trying to make it engaging and fun for our students, for your children. So so the learning can be as close to what we can make it to a real classroom setting as possible. But there will be a combination of both, but more of the recorded as we begin the process until we can move to how live might look for certain age groups. When will we get access to Google Classroom? I know that when I asked today, we talked about it being, I think I said that earlier, the week before, so that's August 17th, I believe is the week that we were looking at opening that up. I will see if there's any benefit to you having it earlier and if that's possible. And so we'll look at that. So if some of you want to go ahead and start learning how to do some of it, maybe we can send out the informational videos so you can, you know, have more time to do that. So we'll look at that and see if that helps out. So we have a lot of questions about Chromebooks. When will we get them? Well, that's a great question. And our plan is to the week of August, the week before we start on August 24th, so that's August 17th. Let me look at my calendar, make sure I'm saying that right. Yes, the week of August 17th is our original plan to have that week and have a process. And we're working on how to manage that because this is a big undertaking. So for you but especially for us. So we're working on that process. So there's a lot of ifs here. If the Chromebooks get here in time for us to do the mass push out to everyone, we were going to shoot for the 17th, but that's just going to be contingent upon if the tech team can get everything ready to do that. But we're going to do everything we can as quickly as we can. If we don't have them all, as I said before, we will be giving Chromebooks. We will have about 500 in the district that we will give out, one per family that absolutely has no device at all. That would be our contingency plan, and hopefully we don't have to use that, but that also would be that week is when we would hand them out. Will there be enough Chromebooks for everyone when they all arrive? That's the issue we have right now. They're on order and back order. So once we ordered enough so that if every student in the district needed a Chromebook, at our current attendance rate that we ended with last year, we would have one for every student in the district. So I guess we'll see how many feel like they really need one. How will we get them? That process will be given out very soon. And what about internet? And once again, I mentioned we have mobile hotspots that we're purchasing, and those will be available for checkout also if you do not have internet. How will dual credit be conducted? That information will be coming directly from the high school campus. That administration and those teachers are working on those requirements with the colleges, and so we will be pushing that information out to you very soon. Can I use my own device? Yes, please. Please use your own device if you have one. That way, especially if we don't get them all in time, then we'll have enough to go around. So yes, you can use your own device. How will we find out our child's teacher and class schedule? That will be pushed out from the campus administration. We can't do meet the teacher like we've done before, so we have discussed how to do virtual meet the teacher. And so the campus administration has been working on ideas, and the teachers come back on Monday, and we begin those final preparations. So some of those things, we try very hard to be a team here and not just me sitting here telling everybody you must do this, this, this. Number one, because I don't have that many ideas. So it takes a team here, and I believe we have a great team, and our teachers are fantastic. So when our teachers come back on contract on Monday, they are going to help fill in a lot of these holes that we have, because they are very wise and very good at what they do. So things about how to roll that out to you in a fun, exciting way will happen as soon as they get back, and we kind of firm this up. So here in the next, I would say by the end of next week, you're going to really see a lot of that type of information begin to roll out to you. So will each class teacher assign a task each day? Yes. In order to be counted in attendance, every teacher will assign a task that must be completed. It can be like a little exit ticket, do this little piece, or because if it's a long project, they may not expect them to get it done that day. It may be several days, but there'll be some type of task or learning opportunity they have to complete in order for them to be counted present. And so once again, the teachers will be working on that. How will special ed students receive services during home-based learning? That is a very great question. Our special ed team has already been working diligently to reach out to every parent over the next week. They're trying to call everyone, hold their special virtual ARD meetings to ensure that any of the needs, any of the modifications or accommodations or services that need to be provided, that they are provided. So I can assure you, we will make sure your children have what they need and in the manner that's most appropriate for them. And that will be done on an individual basis. And so if you've not been contacted yet, you will be contacted very soon. How is preschool programs for children with disabilities being handled virtually? PPCD. Once again, this is our special ed department is working on how that's going to look, and those children that have this need, they will be receiving that information very soon. where there'll be a supply list for virtual home-based learning. As I said before, we as a district are providing your school supplies. So if there's any supplies that you need, we will make sure that you receive them. And that will be, we're going to try to work it out in a way that when you pick up your computers, you pick up your supplies and everything that you need, hopefully in one drive-through. But we're still working on that. But we're going to try to provide everything we can to you so that you don't have to worry about that. We want to take care of that for you. How will school lunches be passed out the first 2 weeks? We are still, and I apologize, I have to keep saying we're still working on that, but there's some finalization plans and some guidance we've been actually waiting on, so we know if we can do things a certain way. Actually meeting this week with the food service department, they are working diligently to ensure that that all of our students receive their breakfast and lunch just like they did in a tremendous way over the summer. If you didn't participate in coming through the curbside pickup, it was fantastic. So I can assure you that we will be making sure that all children have access to breakfast and lunch. And we will have that also, that information coming out very soon. Like I said, within the next week, you're going to see probably more information than you want to see, because we've been working toward it, waiting on guidance. We're finally getting guidance, and where we haven't received guidance, we're just making our plan and moving forward, because we can't wait. I mean, I hate to say it, but we can't wait on the state any longer. We just got to move. How will electives that require in-person activities be conducted? That is another great question, and we are still in the discussion stage on that one because there is much to be considered there, and it depends on whether we're 100% virtual or whether we get to go to choice. And so that information, when we get to that point to say, yes, we're moving to where you can choose to do campus-based, or you want to stay virtual, we'll be able to share with you exactly how that looks, so that if you're learning virtually, but you're in certain courses that may require hands-on participation, we will have that prepared to share with you, so you will be able to make the right decision about whether you want to be in those courses or not, because there's just some things that it's just really difficult to teach virtually. So they need to practice in other ways. So we're working on how we can do that in a safe manner. So that is, once again, that's more information to come. Is virtual learning the same thing as home-based learning? Yes, it is. There are so many different ways to say it, virtual, online, so we thought if we said home-based, you're at home doing the learning virtually, or you're on campus learning it in a traditional setting, is kind of our interpretation of that. So thank you for asking that. We will put that on the FAQ to help everybody understand. Will home learning require printers to print out documents? No, we would not require something like that. We will be able to submit things virtually. If there was something that needs to be on paper, we will make sure you get that. So no, we will not have you have to get a printer. What if my children can't get help or online until after I get home from work? Well, as I mentioned before, we will have it open for them to do their work from 8 a.m. until 12 at night, midnight. So that means when you get home at 5, say, the information will be there. You can go with your children into Google Classroom, and y'all can begin to work on the activities I've mentioned earlier, and we'll have it on our site, how much time would probably be needed for each grade level. And so you would be able to work with them then, and we will also have teacher support and tech help until 8 p.m. each evening, Monday through Friday, also for those of you that are working, because we know that's a need. Will home-based students be eligible for extracurricular activities? That has been quite a debate across the state of Texas on what that should look like. And where we are in our thinking at this time is that, yes, they will be eligible for that. And we have various reasons why we're moving that direction, but we do not feel like we should punish students because you feel like they need to be at home. But just realize that when they come to the extracurricular, there is that, you know, those safety protocols that have to be followed. So that's where we are. So unless powers that be tell us differently, that's where we're moving right now. I have multiple children in the district. If one of their classmates tests positive, will all my kids have to quarantine? That is a big question and a great question and of concern. One of the documents that we will be posting will be the mitigation document, which basically will show you a process. If you know, if this scenario happens, this is when you have to quarantine and so forth. So we'll be posting that. That is it's not always real clear cut because you have to look at there's certain mitigation factors you look at. Were they in the same classroom, or were they, how close were they wearing masks? There's many things that have to be considered. So when you see the safety protocols and mitigation piece come out, you'll begin to see how this will look. And then every case, we have to work with the health department, and they help us make determinations on who and what and how long these things have to occur. So that is more on a case-by-case basis, and a huge consideration. And that is that question right there is the main reason we're coming at this so slowly, because we want to try to prevent that, or at least try to keep it from happening too much, because that's what's causing us to lose sleep at night, is how do we do this and prevent that type of thing from happening. Will campus-based classes be regular school hours? Yes, they will be regular school hours. And those that are doing home-based learning will have things that once we go to choice, you will have things you will need to do during the day, and it will be longer amounts of time. So just know that the commitment to home-based or virtual learning, once you have the choice to come to campus, is going to look much different and be much more difficult than the first 2 weeks will be when we're all virtual, because you don't have a choice at that point. So we're trying to take that under consideration. If I commit to home-based learning, how long is that commitment? A semester, 6-week grading period. As mentioned earlier, we want you to commit to 6 weeks, just simply because that gives continuity for your child with that classroom, that teacher. And if you switch, then the switch, hopefully it works out where they don't have to change teachers, but more than likely they would. So we want them to, that switch to come at the end of the grading period, but it will just be the 6 weeks. Will students have to wear a mask on campus? Yes. By the Texas governor's orders, all students age 10 and everyone age 10 and older must wear masks in communities that have more than 20 or more cases, and San Patricio does. So therefore, everyone must wear a mask outside the building, inside the building, everywhere they go, 10 years of age and older. On buses, everyone, no matter what your age, will be required to wear a bus, because that's such a confined space. So that is not, unless the Texas governor changes that rule, we all must do that. Will students be able to walk to school? Of course, if you feel that it's safe for your children to walk to school, by all means, they can walk to school, ride their bike to school. We start seeing a lot of bike riders. We'll put up more bike holders, whatever we can do to help. I know that's difficult in Aransas Pass, though, because we don't really have a lot of good sidewalks. And so all I would say is just, I feel kind of like the mother of all these 1,600 students, just, let's make sure you have a safe pathway to get there, because I just would hate for anything to happen to them. But yes, if you feel it's safe, then by all means. Okay, they're still coming in. Is the district testing students, or is that the parents' decision? Oh, for the virus. Oh, okay. I was thinking about STAR testing or something. It's a district. Oh no, that would be your decision. We can't mandate that students be tested for COVID. Okay. Whew. Great questions. And so we're going to take all these and we're going to make sure that we add this to our FAQ. So you have it in writing also. I want to stress again that as of today, these are our plans. We're hoping and praying these stay our plans and we can work our plans down and move through them. I hope you understand, though, that we have guidance that we must follow from the state of Texas. Well, first the federal government, then the state of Texas, and then TEA that we must follow. And if you haven't been following the news or going to the TA website and looking at all that's been on there, you may not know how fluid this has been. It has been very frustrating for us because we want to give you answers, we want to give you good answers, and we want to not have to change the answers. But it's been very difficult because we've not had a choice as we've gone through this. This is new for everyone, no matter what level you're at. But we feel like our job here is to serve you as our families of Aransas Pass ISD, to ensure that Panther Nation, that you have the safest school experience possible, and that you have choice in what that looks like for you and your family, because you're all coming from different perspectives and different needs. And so we are striving to ensure that you have that choice, that you have as much, that we can provide as many resources from Chromebooks to hotspots to school supplies, as anything that we can take out of your way to relieve that burden. We're wanting to do that for you. And our ultimate goal is to provide your children with the highest quality of education that we can possibly provide during this time. So that's our goals. Those are our goals. That's what we're striving to do each and every day. And I do know that as I begin my third year here in Panther Nation, as I told the teachers this morning when we had our virtual FAQ, this is the most resilient community that I've ever had the privilege of serving in. And I know without a shadow of a doubt that we will all come together and that we will make this happen for the sake of our children, for the sake of your children, to ensure that they come out of this stronger and better. I've used this, Judge Canales mentioned this in a meeting one day, and she talked about how the greatest generations make the greatest sacrifices. And that has really just stuck with me, thinking about when you look back in history and you look at some of the generations that had to go through some of the most profound things and how they were overcomers and made such a difference in their world. And I know that we worry about our children that are having to go through this, but I am a true believer that as I think about my 6-year-old granddaughter starting her first grade year and having to do it virtually in Nevada from August 17th until October 9th with no choice but to do that, it scares me for her. But I know that she's resilient, and I know that your children are resilient, and I know that she will be stronger for this, and that when we all pull together and we ensure what they have in the midst of a crisis, that on the other side, we will look back and know that we're all better and we're all stronger for what we were able to forge through. So I just want to encourage you just to stay strong, and let's follow the safety rules, whether we believe in them or not. Let's just follow these safety rules so we can end this thing and try to get everyone well, and so we can get back to some type of normalcy. But until then, let's hold on to each other. We can't do it physically, but we can virtually hold on to one another and encourage one another and be patient as together we walk through this and we navigate these waters and get safely to the other side. So until we meet again, I wish you Godspeed and safety and health, and know that we're here. If you have any other questions that you think of, please do not hesitate to reach out to us, submit them online, call us during our work hours. We are here to serve you, and we thank you, and we'll see you again soon. Have a great evening.